Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on Cobblers Vlogs, where it's that time of the year. It's the retain list. I've got who I'm keeping, who I'm letting go of, who am I selling, who am I offering a new contract at the Cobblers after what has been a pretty bad League One season. This could be a very short video because I'm going to be getting rid of most of them and keeping not very many of them. So what are we waiting for? Let's get into my 2020-2021 Northampton Town Football Club retained list. So for those of you who don't know, the retain list, every single club has one at the end of the season where they say who they're keeping, who is leaving at the end of the season. So this could be players at a contract that are not going to be signing on, players that may have a contract that are going to be released from the club. I've got 4 different categories on my retain list. I've got a keep list. These are players that are under contract that I would not be selling or would not release at the end of this season. I've got players that are out of contract this season that I'm going to offer a contract for next season if I was Kelvin Thomas or John Brady. My third list is the players who are here on loan that will definitely be leaving at the end of the season. And then my fourth list is who I would release or sell if I was in charge of the Cobblers. So let's start with my first list, as my hair looks absolutely terrible. I know it needs cutting. I don't know what's going on. It's too long on top. Anyway, let's have a look at my keep list first of all. No, we'll start with the end of the loan, so we know who is definitely not going to be playing for the Cobblers next season as it stands. What the hell is that? Right, okay, so it's come back again. So definitely leaving us at the end of this season are our loan players. We signed Jonathan Mitchell on loan from Derby, who has been a catastrophe this season. It's also been a catastrophe that Steve Arnold, the other goalkeeper that we have, is injured. So, you know, we've had to cope with Mitchell a lot, and he's been at fault for quite a lot of our goals this season. So despite making some great saves at points, I think Jonathan Mitchell, yeah, not surprised. That's fine. He can go back to Derby, not a problem. Peter Chioso is the only kind of loan player that I may miss. He was, you know, quite good for us, you know, at right back. You know, a solid option. So yeah, I think him going back to Luton, he can go and further his career and develop even further as a player. We've also got Bryn Morris, who goes back to Portsmouth after half a season here. He came to us in January. Pretty average, hasn't he? We've not really seen anything too spectacular from him. We've not really seen anything that rubbish from him. So not too sad to see Bryn Morris go. Mikael Miller, who's probably been the best player in terms of ability in the squad. Probably the right player at the wrong time. A player of Mikael Miller's ability. Good on the ball. Puts crosses in. Didn't actually do any of that very often in terms of getting assists and goals, but the potential and you know, we saw how good Mikael Miller was while he was here, but his loan spell is over. He's going to be going back to Rotherham and we'll probably get in their first team in the Championship. And I think a good player, Mikael Miller, just right player at the wrong time. I don't think that's the sort of player you bring in a relegation scrap. And then Ryan Edmondson is the last man that will be leaving us. Didn't see too much from him. Scored a couple of goals, worked hard, but don't see him as this fantastic new young striker that Leeds seem to think he is. So yeah, not too disappointed about Ryan Edmondson going back to Leeds at the end of this season. Okay, so there are a number of players who are out of contract at the end of the season, which means that their contract expires. They've either been offered a 1-year deal that maybe we signed at the start of the season, or they've been here for maybe a couple of years and their deal ends this year. Those players are Lloyd Jones, Ryan Watson, Sean McWilliams, Mark Marshall, Ricky Corboa, Keon Bolger, Alan Sheehan. All of those are out of contract at the end of the season, so if they're not offered a new deal, they will go. There are out of contract players. There are some that I would like to keep. I have offered a new contract to Lloyd Jones. I think he's been really good at the back and can do a solid job for us in League 2. Not that we really saw that when he was here with Keith Carl, but under Brady in League 1, and he could potentially sign for a League 1 club next year. I mean, he is out of contract, so that would be interesting. Ryan Watson, who was on fire in terms of in front of goals since in kind of January, February, you know, scored like 7 in 7 games or something like that. Ryan Watson, definitely a good midfielder in League 2 that we should be keeping. Sean McWilliams, one of our own. I don't think he's quite ready at the stage where he could go on and be sold for big money just yet, but I think he's definitely a fantastic player to have in League 2. Somebody that's obviously, you know, been born and bred in Northampton, was a Cobblers fan growing up, so it'd be fantastic to keep a player like Sean McWilliams, and is a really hard grafter in midfield. Mark Marshall is the other one. Again, quality, pacey winger, can provide goals and assists, good threat. Getting a little bit old now, which is kind of the sort of player that you would see in League 2. Mark Marshall, someone that's been kind of in League 1 in the Championship earlier on in his career, and maybe just coming down to League 2 to just kind of, you know, see his career out with maybe a couple of promotions, and hopefully you can do that with Brady and the boys. I'm really being too distracted about my hair here, aren't I? And then my last person that I would offer a contract to, slightly controversial this one, is Ricky Ricky Corboa. Obviously, we signed him at the start of the season from Carshalton Athletic, in like the 9th tier or whatever it is of English football. And Ricky Corboa, I think, it's a controversial one, but I think we haven't, he's not a League One player. We've seen from when he's played that he's not good enough for League One, but I still think give him a contract, give him a run out in League Two, and he could be decent for us. Who knows? But I think the other four, Lloyd Jones, Ryan Watson, Sean McWilliams, Mark Marshall, I think most Cobblers fans would offer them a contract. Ricky Corboa is probably the only controversial one in there. Let's have a look at who I would release and sell then. So starting with the goalkeeper, Steve Arnold. We haven't seen him. He's been really unfortunate with injuries. Obviously did well in the playoffs last season. I just think let's just get 2 fresh new goalkeepers in. Obviously Mitchell's going to go back on loan. We've got 2 young keepers coming through as well, so give maybe them a bit of a chance. But Steve Arnold, again, a little bit old, getting on a little bit now, so I think release him. The first one is somebody that is out of contract at the end of this season, Kean Bolger. I don't think there is a Cobblers fan on the planet that would disagree with that. I think release him, absolutely no problem. Don't offer him a new contract. He's not been good enough at all, especially as a captain in that back three. And he's had a good reputation when he was at Fleetwood. He was good there. Lincoln didn't really like him too much. Then obviously he came to us and hasn't done it at the back there. So I think, yeah, Kean Bolger will be on his way out. The next one is a youth player, Josh Flanagan. Haven't really seen him, haven't really given him a chance. I think if he was good enough, he probably would have been in and around the first team, on the bench or kind of playing when we were struck with injuries, kind of around that Oxford time when Max Dyche was thrown in there. So I think Josh Flanagan, bye-bye. Alan Sheehan is the next one. Again, a little bit old. I think if we're kind of rebuilding and starting again for League Two, he's not the sort of player that we want around the club. Jack Sowerby, again, very, very average in midfield. Wouldn't bother keeping him. Sell him on to somewhere else, maybe even in League One or League Two. Just don't think he's been good enough at all this season. Obviously, has been hit by injuries. Morgan Roberts, he's been given quite a few chances. Maybe not enough, some would say, but has been given quite a few chances and never really shown anything. So wouldn't have a problem with us releasing him. Liam Cross obviously came on against Sunderland on the final day of the season. Again, didn't really think that much of him. Haven't seen him. Why has he not been in and around the first team in the first place? So I think, yeah, bye-bye to him. Benny Ashley Seal is another one, just not been good enough. Haven't seen that work rate, haven't seen that effort, doesn't really seem to care. So yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see him go. I think he scored in the Papa John's Trophy and that's about all he's done. So wouldn't be shocked or saddened by Benny Ashley Seal going, because I would do that if I was in John Brady's shoes. Ethan Johnston is another one, youth striker. It broke that he was on trial at Sunderland last week apparently. So again, if that was true and if he does go to Sunderland, I'm not too bothered about that. The last one is Caleb Chukwuemeka. The last one and probably the most controversial one that I would get rid of is Caleb Chukwuemeka. There's so much potential, we can see it there, but there's clearly something wrong behind the scenes on his social media, just kind of the way he portrays himself. He seems to think he's bigger than what we are and thinks he's bigger than League One and thinks he's this Premier League star that seems to have made it. The quality's there. He's not good enough off the ball as well. He's not good enough off the ball or off the pitch in terms of the way he conducts himself on social media. Like I said, thinking he's bigger than what we are and bigger than League One and doesn't really seem to care about the fact that we've got relegated. So Caleb Chukwuemeka, it's bye-bye from him. So those are who I would get rid of. In terms of who is going to be in the squad next season, my Northampton Town squad next season, I have 2 young goalkeepers in Dylan Berry and Charlie Woods. I think Charlie Woods is a goalkeeper. Michael Harriman is still here under contract, decent League Two player. Fraser Horsfall, I think, will be good in League Two as well. Joseph Mills, he showed how good he was with Forest Green when he was with them and he was their captain, so definitely one to keep for League Two. Max Dyche, the young centre-back, was good when he came in and had to cover when we had so many injuries in kind of December time, so definitely would keep him. Scott Pollock as well, there's rumours that he might be out, going elsewhere. I'd definitely keep him in. Sam Hoskins as well, he's always going to get a contract at the Cobblers, and he's Mr Northampton Town, he's been here for so long. Some would say maybe this is it, just get rid of him, but we've seen he can be a good player in League Two. We saw it in the title winning season, we saw it in the playoffs last year and throughout last season, so Sam Hoskins definitely one to keep. Harry Smith will come back on, he's been out on loan in Scotland, hasn't really played I don't think or done much at Motherwell, but again we've seen how kind of effective he can be in League Two, so I think he'll be one to keep. Matt Warburton as well has been out on loan at Yeovil this season. has been good for them, I think. Nice bit of experience. Obviously, he's now going professional for kind of the very first time when we first signed him. Again, would just be nice to see him given a bit more of a chance. And then Danny Rose as well. He's been here for the whole of the Cobblers. We know, what a nightmare he can be in League Two when he was at Mansfield last time out. So that's my squad. I've got Dylan Berry, Charlie Woods, Michael Harron, Fraser Horsfall, Joseph Mills, Matt Deitch, Scott Pollock, Sam Hoskins, Harry Smith, Matt Warburton, Lloyd Jones, Ryan Watson, Sean McWilliams, Mark Marshall and Ricky Corboa. And then hopefully there'll be a whole host of signings that John Brady makes that can improve that core of a team. But like I said, I wouldn't be saddened if every single one of them went. There's not one player, I think, where I'm like, we need to keep him. He needs to be in our team next season. There isn't one. I mean, they're not all going to go. Most of them will, but there isn't one player where I'm like, yeah, we need to keep him for League Two next season. So hopefully that's kind of my retain list. That's what I think is going to happen. And hopefully there'll be a whole host of signings as well to improve that squad. So there you have it then. That is my retain list for the 2020-2021 season. That's a mouthful, isn't it? It's been a really bad season for the Cobblers, and like I said, I wouldn't be too shocked if all of them go. There isn't one where I think we need to keep him, like I've already said. Let me know if there's any changes you would make. Would you keep Ricky Corboa like I did? Would you release Chuck Wamika like I did? Let me know in the comments below, and anything else that you would anyone that you would get rid of, anyone that you would keep that I haven't done, please do let me know in the comments below. So that's going to be it for this video. Make sure to smash the like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button as well. We've been growing really well over the course of kind of the second half of the League One season, so thank you very much for your support, and keep hitting the like button, keep subscribing, keep sharing our videos. That would be awesome. Thank you very much to our fantastic patrons as well: Adam Page, Mike Fuller, Jason Rodhouse, Luke NTFC. Link to our Patreon is in the description. Go and check out FanHub as well, the app which is rewarding football fans for their loyalty. Head over to the App Store or the Google Store, whatever store it is, and get the FanHub app right now. So yeah, that's going to be it for me. Thanks very much to everybody for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and until next time, we will see you all later. Bye-bye.